Temple anticipation. With the turn of a shovel, Utah Valley is one step closer to its newest LDS temple.
Fire protection. Provo City warns why you may not be protected in your apartment.
And Romney's reaction. Mitt Romney speaks on religious values after an influential pastor says Romney's religion is a cult. I'm Brian Grimmett.
And I'm Angela Santos. It's Monday, October 10th, and in Utah, it's 12 o'clock.
From KBYU and the BYU Department of Communications. This is the award-winning 11 News at noon.
Alongside other church and state officials, LDS Apostle Elder Dallin H. Oaks led Payson City in the groundbreaking for their up-and-coming temple. 11 News reporter Brianna Carr got the dirt on the thousands of members ready for their hometown temple. Brianna, it was kind of rainy and cold on Saturday. How was the turnout for the groundbreaking?
Well, Angela, the weather definitely wasn't ideal, but nothing kept hundreds from coming to the dedication of the ground they call home.
To some, the soon-to-be Payson Temple is just another on a long list of Utah edifices. But for Payson City and the surrounding area's LDS members, the temple won't just bless their lives.
The Payson Temple will be a dominant and visible influence on the millions who pass here by day and by night.
Stanley Ryan has lived in Payson for the last 40 years of his life. He and his family have actively attended the Manti and Provo temples. But he says something really hits home about having a temple in a place he's loved for so long.
Well, I don't know, it's a spiritual thing, and it makes you feel like you belong. Like we've arrived.
Elder Dallin H. Oaks joined Elders Walker, Snow, and Jensen of the 70 in first breaking ground for the officially dedicated plot. He then invited U.S. Congressman Jason Chaffetz to break the ground too. After shoveling a slew of soil, Chaffetz joked,
"That's harder work than we doing in the Congress, that's for sure."
The Payson City Temple will be one of the larger temples built in recent years and will serve 22 stakes stretching from Nephi to Spanish Fork.
The Payson Temple will be the 15th temple built in Utah. Church officials haven't set an actual dedication date yet. There's still a lot more shoveling to be done before we get there. Live from the newsroom, I'm Brianna Carr, 11 News.
Thanks, Brianna. Provo Fire Department wants there to be smoke alarms in every apartment complex in Provo. Last March, a tragic fire accident left two women dead, and now firefighters set the goal to make Provo more fire safe. Firefighters say that some rental units in Provo don't have alarms in place and others don't have alarms at work. They say landlords will need to do annual inspections and keep the alarms up to date. They also encourage people to check their alarms every year.
The Provo City Council is now taking applications to fill the vacant seat left by Councilman Steve Turley. Turley resigned last month while facing ethics charges and a replacement of his term. Any registered voter living in Turley's district can apply for the position. He or she will be on the council 48 days until a newly elected council member takes office in January. Some Utah lawmakers say it may be time to bring in an independent group to speed up the redistricting process. Republicans hope to settle on a map where Salt Lake and West Salt Lake were separate districts surrounded by 3 large rural districts. But after much opposition from Democrats, they decided to start from scratch. If lawmakers can't decide by November 3rd, the governor would have to call for another special session. Controversial remarks about Mitt Romney's religion caused a stir at this year's Values Voter Conference. 11 News reporter Megan Tixon explains how faith highlighted the weekend.
A highly anticipated Saturday morning speech from Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney came following accusations from a prominent Texas preacher that Mormons are a part of a cult. Baptist pastor Robert Jeffress, talking on CNN, set the tone before the day started, saying Christians should not vote for Romney because of his religion, calling the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints a cult.
I think Mitt Romney's a good moral man, but I think those of us who are born-again followers of Christ should always prefer a competent Christian to a competent non-Christian like Mitt Romney.
Romney didn't directly address the comments, but his speech at the Value Voters Summit emphasized American religious values.
Our government must respect religious values, not silence them. We will always pledge our allegiance to a nation that is under God.
Romney has defended his faith on the presidential trail since he first ran back in 2008.
I believe in my Mormon faith, and I endeavor to live by it. Some believe that such a confession of my faith will sink my candidacy. If they're right, so be it.
But when the results from the straw poll came in, GOP candidate Ron Paul as the winner. Kane came in second, followed by Rick Santorum, with Romney coming in sixth. Religion wasn't the only topic on the table. The GOP hopefuls tackled other major issues like unemployment and the economy. One thing they all agreed on is they say it's time for a new commander-in-chief. Angela?
Thanks, Megan. A Salt Lake hotel housekeeper had to go to the hospital after a can of bear spray shot off at the Marriott Hotel. Her cart bumped the can left on the floor, spraying her and making it impossible for her to open her eyes. The hotel evacuated all of the guests temporarily while they ventilated the building, and the housekeeper will recover. Police in Mill Creek are on the lookout after finding 4 pipe bombs lying in a road this morning. Police say whoever put them there hoped that cars would drive over them. Crews safely detonated the pipes and determined the bombs weren't real. This is the second scare in 2 days. Police evacuated a Salt Lake neighborhood yesterday after they found a different fake pipe bomb. When your 11 News at Noon returns, McCartney marries. The Beatle known as the cute one ties the knot once again.
And foster help. New programs look to smooth the transition from foster care to independent living. Stay with us.
Violent religious protests leave several dead in Egypt, a toxic mess on the New Zealand coastline, and Paul McCartney ties the knot. Here's your look at news from around the world. Violent riots in Egypt have left at least 25 people dead and hundreds injured. An Egyptian Christian religious group took to the streets Saturday after burning one of their churches. Egyptian leaders say this violence is the deadliest since the revolution to topple Hosni Mubarak in February. Egypt's current prime minister has reached out to the group to help resolve the crisis. Tar balls litter a beach in New Zealand after an oil spill has reached the shore. Dead birds covered in oil have washed up along the beach, so the government warned the people in the area not to handle the material as it could be toxic. But locals have complained that since the government has yet to respond, they have no choice but to clean it up themselves. Paul McCartney gets married again. The former Beatle said, "I do" to American trucking heiress Nancy Chevelle in London yesterday. The duo tied the knot at Marylebone Town Hall, the same place where McCartney married his first wife, Linda, in 1969. Former Beatle Ringo Starr and television icon Barbara Walters were among the guests. This is McCartney's third trip down the aisle. And that's your look at news from around the world. Brian?
Each year, about 30,000 kids age out of the U.S. foster care system and are suddenly faced with having to support themselves. Many never finish high school and end up on welfare. As Christine Romans reports, there are a handful of new programs that prepare these young adults for the working world.
Raven Prophet was 15 when she entered foster care after her mother was diagnosed with schizophrenia. She knows how difficult it can be for foster children to think about the future, let alone a career.
Because they really don't have, role models or parents to look up to and actually, gain advice from, or, how to put together a resume or how to conduct themselves in an interview.
She's now a student at the University of Albany studying biology and women's studies. She wants to be a role model for other foster children. She's a youth ambassador for career workshops like this one.
I learned how to be punctual. I learned how to be professional.
A 3-state study found former foster care youth are more than 3 times as likely not to have a high school diploma or a GED. Foster kids are even less likely to earn a college degree. And they're more likely to end up on the government rolls. 3/4 of women and 1/3 of men who have aged out of foster care receive benefits like food stamps and housing assistance. It's a tough cycle to break.
Veterans and young people leaving foster care are the 2 largest pipelines to homelessness among young adults in this country.
For those young adults who age out of the system, suddenly being on their own can be difficult.
Right now, I'm actually looking for any job that's hiring. At the moment, I just need to be financially stable at the moment.
Tom Hilliard is the author of a new study on employment and former foster children. These kids, he says, need mentoring and jobs programs.
Any teenager who gets into a difficult work situation could just say, the heck with this, and then walk out. But what if you knew that you were going to be taken care of and nobody was going to say a word to you about it? Well, then you're a lot more likely to walk out, aren't you?
Raven Prophet says mentors she met in her early teens put her on the right track, and that's why she wants to help others.
I was blessed to have a great support system and a lot of programs, so I feel like that's important, you know, vital to youth and foster care.
Christine Romans, CNN, New York.
Along with helping kids get jobs, many of these programs also offer college scholarships and tutoring programs.
When 11 News at noon returns, homecoming heroes. The Cougars let some Spartans know that this is Provo.
Lovely leaves. The crisp air paints the mountains above BYU with orange and red.
And our weekend brought rain, but will it continue? Your 11 weather when we return.
Yesterday, it was pretty sunny, pretty amazing day.
Yeah, it was super nice. How long are we going to have those nice days?
Yeah, Angela and Brian, we saw some good weather this weekend. We definitely started with some wet days Friday and Saturday morning, but then we came up with a sunny good Sunday, so we can definitely say we had the best of both worlds. Today we felt a cooler morning with overcast skies. Not too shabby though, because we didn't have any rain to deal with and to walk up to campus with also. Currently outside it is a chilly 46 degrees, but not to worry because it is going to heat up to 65 degrees today, so a 20-degree jump, 71% humidity. That's why we're feeling that cooler, brisk morning with a wind speed of 5, so not too much to worry about with wind as well. I just said that it was going to be 65 degrees, and it is going to stay that warm for your commute home with partly sunny skies, mid-60s, no rain again, so no hydroplaning or anything to worry about for today. Looking across the United States over these last 24 hours, we did see some storms over the west coast, right here over California and northwestern United States. We don't have to endure it today, but luckily for us, we get to see it tomorrow, and we will have a 50% chance of rain for tomorrow. Over the west and the east coast, we saw some storms. Definitely the east coast inundated with rain with those hurricanes hitting Florida, all around there. But not too much to worry about. For today, we see everyone is in the 60s, 63 in Logan, 69 in Provo, and even our St. George friends down there in southern Utah see 63. So they're definitely cooling down as well as we are up here in the north. For southern Utah, in our 5-day forecast, we are going to see some clouds Monday and Tuesday, but not to worry about too much, because on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, they are going to get some sun and jump back up to the 80s. And for northern Utah, we are going to see some clouds Monday and Tuesday. Tuesday definitely, like I said before, with that 50% chance of rain. But that's okay, because Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, we're going to get rain again, some sun again, so you can just not have to put your boots on and your umbrellas anymore. Just break them out tomorrow.
I like that 70 and 76 there towards the end of the week. It's
doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, so it just seems like we're getting patches of rain and then patches of sun, so I think we're going to see that for the next couple weeks.
Thanks,
as long
Sarah.
as it's not snow.
So Rachel, it was homecoming this past weekend. Did you able to make it to any of the events?
Yeah, Rachel, I heard the floats were really cool at homecoming.
You know, I didn't make it to any of the events other than the football game, but next on sports, BYU fans filled the Val Edwards Stadium for the Cougars' annual homecoming football game. Did Riley Nelson lead the Cougars to a victory against San Jose State? And the BYU women's soccer team faced its biggest matchup of the season. See what happened in the first 2 minutes of play. Sports is next. Stay tuned. With Riley Nelson taking the reins from former starter Jake Heaps after a nail-biter against Utah State, he was looking to see if he could keep his mojo going in BYU's homecoming matchup against San Jose State. First quarter, Cougars driving, Nelson looking for an open player. He takes the ball down the field, and a fumble forced by San Jose State. The Spartans recover the ball, and that's what we call a missed opportunity. And apparently Nelson was feeling generous because he gave the ball up 2 more times before the game was over. On the next play, San Jose State must have had some miscommunication. They snapped the ball high and out the back of the end zone for a safety, giving BYU an easy 2-0 lead. Next drive for the Cougs, Nelson with a 21-yard pass to tight end Richard Wilson, and he catches his first career touchdown pass, giving BYU a 9-0 lead to close off the first quarter. Wilson with another big play in the second, snagging a bomber from Riley Nelson, good for 35 yards, and setting up the Cougars for another scoring opportunity. Can they do it? Yes, they can, and Riley Nelson finds Brian Correa and completes a 1-yard touchdown pass. Nelson finishes his 4th career start, 14 of 24 passing for 219 yards and 3 touchdowns. The second half was all about special teams. Kicker Justin Sorensen sealed the deal for the Cougars, completing 2 field goals for 42 and 45 yards. Cougars send the Spartans packing and take the victory 29-16. This season, the women's soccer team has attracted record-breaking audiences. The biggest game of the season went down on Saturday, and 11 sports reporter Brooke Davis was there to catch the action.
The undefeated 8th-ranked Pepperdine Waves came crashing down on the Cougars Saturday at Southfield. Waves wasted no time getting on the scoreboard with this through ball to Lynn Williams, cracking it past the goalie in the 2nd minute of play. BYU had to play catch-up for the next 88 minutes. Pepperdine's defense held BYU to 2 shots on goal in the first half, one of which was a rip from Jaden Thornock, but Pepperdine's goalie swallowed it up. BYU gained momentum in the second half with 8 shots on goal. Jaden Thornock almost had 2 goals off back-to-back flip throws, just going high over the post. The Cougars could not put enough pep on the ball to get past the #1 goalie in the WCC. BYU goalkeeper Mackenzie Olsen had her share of impressive saves. The ball was played behind the Cougar defense to Anissa Guajardo, but Olsen came away with this amazing block. She's only 6 saves away from becoming BYU's all-time leader. Pepperdine would walk away with the win, 1-0. BYU's defense only allowed 7 shots on goal from Pepperdine, a team that averages 15 a game. Head coach Jen Rockwood said that even though they lost, she's pleased with the way the team battled a nationally ranked opponent. From BYU's campus, I'm Brooke Davis, 11 News.
The Cougars are now 1-1 in West Coast Conference play. This week, the team travels to California to take on the number 17 Santa Clara Broncos, and then up to Washington to play the Zags. And the women's soccer team wasn't the only one who faced a loss against Pepperdine. The BYU women's volleyball team didn't find success in its quest to overthrow the undefeated West Coast Conference leader either. A late rally by BYU wasn't enough to boost them ahead of the top 20 team, who ended the match with a 3-1 victory. Christy Carpenter led BYU with 14 kills on .297 hitting. The Cougars have a week to regroup before they take on the Portland Pilots on the road on October 15th at 1 p.m. Pacific time.
Even with the loss, it's, they still having a fairly decent season.
Yeah, they are. They've had a couple of wins and they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, they've actually won the same amount of games already that they won in last year's entire season. So
wow.
Not bad.
So it's a great start for them.
Still to come on 11 News at noon, fall foliage. The leaves are showing off their autumn best. What will you see when you head up the mountains? We'll be right
That's your 11 News at noon for our Monday, October 10th.
You can join us anytime on our website, 11news.byu.edu.
Now today we're going to leave you with a look at fall colors creeping over the mountains. Thank you for watching and have a great afternoon.